So, welcome everybody. So, today is going to be an interesting day, more like an interesting video actually. So, I've never done this video on this car. So I was inspired, I think 2 weeks ago after watching one of the review of classic Citroen user. So I decided, I think it's high time I talked about mine. So here it is. So in 1966, or thereabout, I think specifically 1966, two French car manufacturing companies decided to come together in a town called Dauphin to start producing two model of engines. What I mean models, so they're more like, okay, I'll get to it, but more like two designs of different engine models. So one of them was a V8, and the second engine will be an inline 4-cylinder engine, just the normal 4-cylinder engine. So, and these two companies are known as Peugeot and the Renault. Remember, like I said, they are French car manufacturing companies. So as they did, started this venture in 1966. So by 1971, at that time they still have not produced any of these engines, So of course they had to build the companies, the plant, and put engineers together from these two brands, and then try to figure out how to put their ideas into physical things you can see, which are these two engine models they intended to produce. So, but I think at about early 70s, like 1971, if I'm not mistaken, Volvo decided to join in that venture, so making it three companies. So what now happened was they decided to change the name of the company to PLV, PLC or whatever. So in other words, it became a PLV engines. So Peugeot, Renault, Volvo. So by 1974, the first engine model they produced was a V6 engine. Like I said, originally they came together to produce a V8 engine and using various models of their vehicles, and also sell to other brands who might be interested. However, due to the energy crisis, for those who are aware or who read history, there was a big energy crisis in the 70s in the Western world and the West, especially Europe and even in North America. So at that time, it made sense to reduce the engine size. So, and to do a V8, it would be very difficult to do a V8 that will probably be less than 3.0 liter engine. So the only logical thing at that time, even though they've already designed the V8 engine, so it made more sense for them to now reduce the engine size. And to reduce the engine size, it had to be a V6. They have to remove the two cylinders that was supposed to originally be part of the engine. So in 1974, the first Peugeot vehicle that had the PLV V6 engine was Peugeot 504, 1974. The first engine produced from that Dauphin company that Peugeot mounted on their vehicle. Of course, the other brand, like the Renault, they also used it on one of their cars at that time. I think it was Renault, is it Alpine or something? I don't know how they produce it. It's a French one. So Volvo at that time did not start using this PLV engine. Like I said, they came together to actually produce two different engine you could say engine types or model. So the V8, which eventually was changed to V6, and then the 4-cylinder engine. So the 4-cylinder engine, I think the production actually started sometime in the late 70s. You know, I think they first started with the V6, V8 actually, then later reduced to V6, and so later on, the 4-cylinder started sometime in the late 70s or so. So one of the 4-cylinder engine they produce, you later find in 505 when I get to that stage. So after the 504 was produced, not necessarily 504 was produced, after the first 5 Peugeot vehicle was produced with this V6 engine, which actually regarded as Z series engines. Those PRV engines, especially the ones Peugeot used, were regarded as Z engine series. So by 1975, remember when they did this 504, then they put it in the 504. 504 production actually started in the 60s, but at that time there was no V6 in them, in any of them, of the models. So by 1974, they now mounted this V6 PRV engine in a 504. However, it was not in a saloon or a station wagon or estate. So Peugeot only mounted it on 504 cabriolet, which is what we now know as convertible, and also 504 coupe or coupe, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So these are the only 2 models of 504 that Peugeot put this PRV V6 engines. The first generation, remember, they started sometime in the 70s. So the first V6 engine they produced were regarded as the first generation V6 PRV. So by 1975, so Peugeot decided, okay, it was time to put it on a saloon vehicle. So in that case, they needed a luxury. They had a luxury luxury saloon car at the time. So they now mounted it on the 604, on the 604. So the first generation PRV V6 engine that was mounted on Peugeot engines were 2.7 liter Peugeot engines. At that time, I don't think there was any brand that started producing V6 or V8 diesel engine. It's possible, but as far as I'm concerned, Peugeot at that time not started doing any V6 diesel engine. So it was 2.7 liter engine. Remember, there is Z series engine. So, however, the first generation we are also regarded as hot fire engine, because they were actually 90 degree angle engine design. Actually, it's, like I said, it's a V engine model. At that time, what was in production by other brand was 60 degree angle V6, but PRV decided to do a 90 degrees, because the why it was 90 degree angle engine was because it was meant to be a V8. So they maintained that design. However, they had to remove the 2 cylinders, which now made it a V6. Between 1974 to 1979, Peugeot was using it on this first generation PRV, which is the hot fire PRV. This is using it on these 3 Peugeot models I talked about: 504 cabriolet, 504 coupe, and the 604. So at that time, they also had the option of 4-speed manual gearbox attached on them, or 3-speed. Did they have automatic? I think so. I can't confirm, but I know for the transmission, what they had was 4-speed manual transmission. So by 1979, the 504 was discontinued, at least in Europe. So Now 505 now replaced 504, became the newer 504, if you put it like that. However, Peugeot unfortunately did not produce 504, 505 cabriolet, that's 505 convertible or 505 coupe. So because of that, there was no 505 V6 between 1979. I will get to somewhere at some point. So when 505 was produced, there was no 505 V6 because Peugeot, their intention was to keep the V6 only on the coupe and the convertible for the 500 series. However, they still maintain the V6 on the 600 series, which is now the 604 production still continued. So they still have the 604. So, however, other brands we are using this PRV V6 engine, not just the Renault, Alpine. There are other brands that we are buying that we are not part of this 3 car manufacturing company. Like you'll find is it the Lorraine? I don't know how to pronounce that word. It's actually, I think it's an American car, or I don't know. So the other brands that we are using, the buying are using this PRV V6 engine, but Peugeot only maintained it on 3. So throughout the time when 505 was produced from 1979 till around 1985, there was no 505 V6. You can only get the Peugeot V6 on 604. By 1986, so Peugeot now decided it's high time they mounted it on a 505, even though there was no saloon, no, there was no coupe or convertible 505. However, they decided to mount it on a 505 that were available, the design that were available, which was a saloon, estate, and station wagon. So by 1986, they also decided to facelift the 505. So you could say from 1979 to 1985, we are like regarded as phase 1 505 or series 1 505 or the facelift 505. So those models did not have the V6, they didn't have any V6. So by 1986, remember I said Peugeot decided to put a V6 in a 505. However, the decision was made to put it only on a saloon 505, which at that time has been facelifted. So the facelifted 505, which started in 1986, the saloon model now had a V6 engine. But this V6 engine was no longer identical to the V6 engine that was used on the predecessor of 505, which was the Hotfire or 2.7 liter PRV V6 engine. So in this case, they decided to use second generation. They've already improved on the PRV engine. So they decided to use the second generation PRV and mount it on the 505. So at that time, the second generation now increased a little from 2.7 liter to 2.8 liter. And another major difference between the first generation and second generation PRV V6 engine was the fueling or the engine management. The 2.7, the first generation, we are carburetor engines. Actually had 2 carburetor engines, 2 carburetors on this PRV V6 engines. The second generation now became EFI, that's the electronic fuel injection system, which you now find in modern ICE Peugeot vehicles. When I mean ICE, I'm talking about internal combustion engines, where you should have 406, 407, 508, this and that, name it. So they now started doing a version of this PRV V6 engine with EFI engine management. So the first 505 that had V6 engine was in 1986. So now we come to this car behind me. But before we actually go full into this car, When Peugeot facelifted the 505 in 1986, there are a lot of things that were actually introduced on the facelifted model. For example, they had the central lock. I think it more like became a standard. I can't say for sure, but the early 505, yeah, they had central lock, but I don't think it was standard per se. But from facelifted model, it basically became standard. I could be wrong, but so then other things were introduced: remote control, ABS, performance steering, which is known as variable ratio steering, which I'll talk about later. Cruise control, I don't know if it was actually introduced in the phase 1 505, but at least the phase 2 had but it wasn't standard, it was optional. Cruise control. There are so many things that were introduced in 505 that facilitated model that you can now find in the modern or the newer Peugeot cars we have today, which is today is it 3rd September 2023, Sunday. So now this car you are seeing behind me is a V6 505. Now, how did I get this? This is mine. This is 1986 production. So this was the first 505 that was produced. The first production of facilitated to the 505. How did I get this car? Let me start by telling you that it was a dream car, which was born sometime in 2002. 2003. Can't remember the exact year, but I know I was I think it was in my 200 or 300 level in the university at that time. So I was coming back from one of my departmental lectures I had that very day at Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, which is known as NAU or UNIZIK. So I was living off campus at my house, my family house. So, for those who live in Oka at that time, there's a street called Emmanuel Emeka Street. So I was walking, trekking home. You know how it could be when after lectures from NIU, Temple side. I had to trek past through the Emmanuel Emeka Street to Umuzocha. Basically, Umuzocha, Oka village. That's not necessarily a village. You could call it village, you know, more like well, at that time it was called village. Oka is the capital of Anambra, but it was called village at that time. The village is in the town. So I was walking towards where I was walking to trekking back home, which was I was staying then in St. John of God Secondary School. That's where we were living at that time. As I was walking up, there was one 505 that was driving down. Let's say this is the road. I was not driving down. It was basically like a brand new Peugeot car, 505. This was in 2003, 2000. Basically either 2002 or 2003. So walking up, was driving down. It was so clean. It wasn't, the ground clearance was not as high as the standard 505 produced in Nigeria. So it was obviously an imported 505 facelifted model. The color was something like a light red. So I was just captivated. I was just looking at this car, even though I've been seeing 505 driving the beds. That was the first time I got attracted to 505. So as it was just passing the path, I turned around and looked at the car. So I was just looking at the car. So when you turn, I look at the boot. So the badge I saw on the boot was ST. So meaning it was a carburetor engine. Important. That was at Imandemeka Street. Ever since then, I told myself I want to. I mean, it just had to be a 505, my first car. Yes, I was driving that time. I was using a 504 GL, which my father gave me anyway. So to say basically it became mine because for how many years? From 1998 to 2007 or 8 or thereabout, the car was basically mine. But then, wow, that was when the dream to have a 505 was born. However, at that time, I have not decided which of the engine to go for, or basically the specification. Of course, I didn't want a 505 with the 2.0 liter engine, which was in my GL, 504 GL at that time. I wanted something more, something that has more power, something that has other performance packages attached. So I knew about the V6 then, but like I said, I wasn't attracted to 505 at that time. I knew about the GTI, but still I wasn't attracted to 505 until that very day. So from that 2003 till 2010, all I wanted was to have a 505. Which of them was an issue? Choose either a GTI or a V6. By 2010, this became mine. The 505 V6, 5-speed manual. Originally, this car started life with a diesel engine. That's a 2.5 liter diesel turbo diesel engine. Yeah, that was the engine this car was produced with. But what happened was when I ordered this car, before I ordered this car, they did a conversion. So, from what I could see after I took delivery of the vehicle, the people that did the conversion got a donor car, which was actually a 505 V6. But most likely the body was in bad shape, or the car had an accident or something, so they now decided to get this clean looking car that has no form of scratch, rust, any issue on the vehicle, and decided to swap in the V6 on it. So basically everything that was on the donor car, which was the V6, was transplanted to this one, which was the diesel 2.5 diesel engine. So they removed the diesel engine and swapped in everything with it. So it became mine. I ordered it in 2010 and took delivery in January 2011. So I'm going to show you around this review is not necessarily just about driving the car, showing you how fast it is and all that. No, I actually want to talk about so that people, because I know a lot of people actually don't know much about the 505 V6. That's why I want to start from the history. It's a car that, if you have not experienced 505 V6, everything you know about 505 and think that's all the best Peugeot ever did. I don't think you actually experienced the best Peugeot ever did if you have not experienced 505 V6. Now this one has a 5-speed manual gearbox. That's a BA10 BA10/5. That's the model. However, the 505 V6 was the first Peugeot car, if I'm not mistaken, that had a 4-speed automatic gearbox. Because the first one 505, the 1979 to 1985 505 had a 3-speed automatic gearbox. Optional. If you want manual, manual at that time had both 5-speed and 4-speed. So that's optional as well for the transmission model. However, from 1986, Peugeot now started using 4-speed automatic. They are all ZF vans. So this one, when Peugeot produced a 505 V6, the ZF automatic gearbox that was mounted, the model is 4HP22. The one on the first one 505, the 3-speed was 3HP22. So why I'm talking about the transmission is whether it's automatic or manual, something else. Now the automatic, I'm not a fan of it, but however I've driven quite a long time 505 V6 automatic, and I'll tell you this, it's the most aggressive 505, okay, not 505, it was, the experience is like, I don't know, that's the most aggressive transmission in a Peugeot car I've ever driven. That 4HP22 you find in 505 V6. I don't think I've ever come across any transmission that was that aggressive in terms of performance. Of course, you will also find it in GTI. The GTI is a 4-cylinder engine. Now let me come to that GTI. Remember when I started, I said the Peugeot and the Renault came together to produce both the V8 and 4-cylinder engine. So one of the 4-cylinder engines they produced was mounted on 505 GTI, even from phase 1, not necessarily phase 2. It started from phase 1. So both of them, both the PRV, that's what we usually call the V6 engine from that double engine. So both the PRV and the engine 4-cylinder you get in 505 GTI are regarded as doubling engines. One thing about these engines, they are basically aluminum engines. At least the cylinder heads, aluminum. I can't say for a fact, but I think it was like the first aluminum engines Peugeot started using or started producing. Like this one. So this particular one is the, like I said, the second generation PRV engine. So this is the 2.8 liter version. However, when Peugeot did 505 V6, they did 2 models of that engine. Of course, they look alike, everything is this kind of thing, but internally there's a slight difference. One is known as ZN3J, one is known as ZN3T, if I'm not mistaken. So the ZN3J has a... Okay, before I even go to the specification, it was actually used only on European. I think it was only European, but even Australia, I'm not sure they got that ZN3J. I could be wrong. But the ZN3J was only made for the European market, simply because it didn't have catalytic converter. It was more like the performance, the high performance version of 505 V6. So at that time, the power was about 170 horsepower. The torque was, is it 245, 235? I can't remember exactly. 245 or thereabout millimeter torque. So that is for the ZN3J. Made for the European market. Not all the 505 VC sold in Europe had that ZN3J. Now the ZN3T was a lower version of the V6 engine. The power was about 140, is it 143 or 145 horsepower. So that one, you get them. Basically, all models sold in North America, especially in Canada, USA, had that ZN3T, the lower version, or the underpowered the V6 engine in 505. Those ones we attach, what's it called, catalytic converters. But this one is the ZN3J, the higher version PRV V6 engine, the 170 HP version. However, when you drive the two, of course, from taking off, they all behave the same way, And but then, when you understand the difference between this and the 140 HP or 145 HP version is, when the RPM start climbing, that's when you can tell the difference. Like I said, the PRV engine is a 90-degree. This is our engine, which is supposed to be a 60-degree angle V6. However, they designed it in such a way that when you look at the engine, you can see that it still has that V8 design. So, but this even fire, this one, the second generation PRV is guided as even fire. So, this even fire PRV V6 engine behaves like the 60-degree angle V6 engine. I think it's time I take you around, look at the car. So this car was produced in 1986. So basically, it's about 37 years old. I think it's better I show you guys. So, like I said, I placed the order of this car to a relation of mine. It was the one that got this car for me. That's Tokumbo. In 2010. And there were stories behind this car when I first got the car, but then I'm going to talk about that probably in, I think I'll do an article on that. So, 37 years after this car, the interior, everything still remains intact. Nothing has been touched. Nothing has been fixed. One good thing about 505 is the massive size of the boot. You don't really understand this until you start loading 505 boot. It's very big. It can swallow things you don't even expect. What's the advantage of 505 over 504? However, you have to be very careful. If you overload it too much, put some things that have too much weight, this is why I usually crack the boot. The boot will crack and then will bend. These places, you will see it even from here. It will crack. You see a big crack here. So what usually happens when it happens, people will go and weld it. But once you weld it, anytime you carry anything that has big weight, it will crack from that place you do the welding. So you will now be forced not to carry anything in the boot. Even if you do, it has to be very light. So I I'm very careful with things I put inside the boat, so I can carry as many as loads, but I'll make sure they are not heavy. So yeah, hold on. So if I want to talk about some of the features the V6 comes with, for example, by standard, 505 V6 have electronic folding mirrors. Not necessarily folding. The mirrors are electronically controlled, the rear view external mirrors. So you will find the switch here. However, because this model was originally with a diesel engine, so it didn't have it, and it was not swapping. If you are going to swap it, it means you have to install the electrical control from here to here. So I can understand why they didn't do that. But in fact, I think I prefer it this way. If I've done it, they probably would have messed up the conversion. So this is the facelifted model dashboard. This is the instrument panel. However, the instrument panel here is that of the four-cylinder engine. There was a time because when they did the conversion, they didn't put the V6 instrument panel, which is different from the four-cylinder. So what I did was, at some point, I bought that V6 one and mounted. I used it for years, from 2011. However, at some point, the tachometer started acting up. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not work. So I decided to put back the four-cylinder tachometer. Basically all the gauges here works. Speedometer, but how 505, especially this Giga model behaves. The speedometer, they always do like this. They hardly stay steady. Especially, they only stay steady probably when they get to like 100 kilometers per hour. Sometimes you keep this, remember what controls it is cable, not electric control like you find in the modern Peugeot cars. When the car came, it had the factory radio cassette. I didn't even bother to use it, so I removed it and got this Sony radio. I bought this since even before the car. I took delivery of the car. I bought this one in 2010. I remember, I think it was like 20,000 or so, 19,500. That's what I purchased it at Sahar store at that time here in Abuja. So of course this car has an AC, which is regarded as climate control system. So the way this car behaves, once you switch out the ignition, the blower starts working. For example, let me show you guys. See? So that's how it works. So in other words, you will be forced to be using your AC. So this is the AC control button here, echo. If you press it in, the AC goes on. It comes out. AC starts working. However, it does act up every once in a while. If you don't use the car for a long time, sometimes you press it, the AC will not work until you have to service the switch. So I don't know what else I can show here. Let's see. So I'm going to go to where what really matters here, because I know a lot of people will like to see the engine. So let's see. So this is the PRV even fire engine, which you probably will not find in any 505 sold in Nigeria. So like I said earlier, this is the even fire PRV V6 engine. This model, like I said, we are all used or basically produced by 3 companies: Peugeot, Renault, Volvo. So you can find it in most Renault, Volvo, and Peugeot models. Like for Volvo, you'll find it in Volvo 760 GLE. I think Volvo started using it in the 80s, probably in the 1984 or thereabouts. But Peugeot started using theirs in 1986, this version of the PRV V6 engine. So, like I pointed out earlier, this one is electronically controlled, just like you have in modern Peugeot vehicles. However, some of the EFI components are not identical to the modern or the ones you see in newer Peugeot cars. For example, this is the MAF sensor, that's MAF, mass airflow sensor. What you find in most Peugeot cars now, it will be MAP sensor, manifold absolute pressure sensor. So in this ZDJL, which is the engine model in GTI 505, theirs I think is AFM, that's airflow meter, but this one is MAF. This one has a IAT inside, that's idle air temperature sensor, is integrated inside it. What else? This is the TPS, that is throttle position switch, which you'll find in modern EFI Peugeot cars. This is the crankshaft position sensor, which is also known as reference sensor. So remember, camshaft, this is camshaft, not crank. So this is the camshaft position sensor. For this model, they attach it on the plug line, spark plug extension. We call it extension line. Some call it cable. What else? I'm trying to find another EFI component to show you. This is the CTS, which is coolant temperature sensor. So basically, these are the fuel injectors, and this is the distributor. So this is basically just you find in a modern product, only that the components are not the same. This one here is the IAC, idle air control solenoid. Like for example, in 406 with EW engine, SU engine, you will find what we call stepper motor. So it's basically they do the same function, but this one is solenoid, while the other one is more like a valve. So now this wiring harness, I actually left it this way because I'm the only one that can actually diagnose this car, electronic car. So I was able to change, because as the car was aging, some of the connectors started failing, breaking and everything. So eventually I decided to start changing them and using the modern connectors. So I decided not to bother to try to sort out or cover everything when I know that I will always come back. Remember, at that time there was no scan tool that we use now on modern cars. Actually, this car has a scan port per se, but the kind of scanner that I use is very, very specific. That one, I'm trying to remember the name. It's just there to read some codes. It doesn't. I had there was a time I had a chance to buy that scan tool, but then I decided not to because I've already learned how to diagnose this vehicle without any scan tool. All you need is your digital multimeter, and then with your workshop manual or repair manual, you can learn the values of all these electronic components here that work with the engine ECU. Learn the values that are supposed to transmit between the sensors or the components with the engine ECU. So all you need to do, if there's any issue, injection issue or ignition issue, use the multimeter and test do continuity test. Then after you check the values and figure out which one is causing the problem. So I didn't bother to get the scan tool. So this is the ignition coil, ignition module. So like I said, the conversion was done and everything was sorted. As you can see, the cross member. This is cross member. You can't see this type of cross member on the 4-cylinder 505. So even the brakes is also the ABS brake. It has the ABS caliper and ABS disc. The only thing that is not here is the ABS master cylinder. So I actually decided not to bother with that because that ABS master cylinder is not the common one you see in a modern car now. That one, everything is actually on that pump. There is no separate ECU or other electronics that is independent of that pump. So if there's any issue, you'll be forced to change the pump, and the pump is not available. So I decided not to bother with it. Of course, this car, the factory cooling fan is known as a viscous mechanical fan. So it's not like the type of fan you see in a 4-cylinder 505 in Nigeria. So the fan has a field inside it, something we call a clutch somewhere, attached close to where the blade is attached to. So when the temperature reaches close to 90 degrees Celsius, the clutch will engage and then the blade will start spinning. So when I got the car in 2010, I think so like 2011, sometime in 2011, it failed. So I couldn't get a good one. So what I did was I now converted it to electric fan, which is electronically controlled. So the electric fan comes up at close to maybe 85 degrees Celsius or thereabouts. Or you could say 87 degrees Celsius. You come up, sometimes they bring it down. It for sure between 92 to 85 degrees Celsius. That's how this fan controls it. So as it is, the cooling system is working perfectly well. Of course, this is the compressor. So for the PRV engines, the AC compressors are mounted on top. Unlike the SM engine, it has 1.8 and 2.0 carburetor engine in 504, 505. The compressor is somewhere down there. So works. The AC works very well. The power steering pump somewhere down there. So the 505 V6, they actually have performance steering, which is different from the normal power steering you find in 505, 504, and all these other recent Peugeot vehicles. Theirs is regarded as variable ratio steering. It's electronically controlled, even though it has a mechanical power steering pump and the power steering rack and the rest. So the control is via the speedometer cable. So what it does is, the higher the vehicle speed, the heavier the steering wheel becomes. The lower the vehicle speed, the lighter the steering wheel becomes. So it was almost like the first time Peugeot started using performance steering in their Peugeot cars. That was the first thing. Was 505 V6, including some models. 505 Turbo was the first Peugeot car. Let me put it this way: it was from 1986 that Peugeot started using performance steering, and which you'll find in 505 V6 or some models of 505 Turbo, Peugeot Turbo. They have that same system as well. But this one, eventually, I ended up converting it to. It actually came with that variable ratio steering, but it just wasn't working well. So I eventually ended up converting it to the standard power steering of 505, which is now pure mechanical. Even the STS 505 V6 I also have access to, with the one I talked about that has automatic transmission. That one also, the variable ratio steering, I started acting up too, usually from that sensor. So I told the owner the best thing is convert it. All you need to do is just change the speedometer cable, use the standard one in 505, and then your steering starts working like normal standard power steering. I don't know what else. Like I said, okay, as you can see, even from the cylinder head, I don't know. Of course, the engine is a little bit dusty. You can see the color of the cylinder head. The engine is basically an aluminum engine. Even the intake manifold, which is this. This is fuel pressure regulator. This is the cruise control. I don't know what to call this, but of course it's disconnected. This is the throttle body. One thing about this 505, I'll come back here. So one thing about this 505 is, it's very noisy. There's one guy that is doing burnouts there. So one thing about this car is the rear seat. It's one of the most comfortable seats in the Peugeot vehicle I've ever sit on. You know, it's even more comfortable. I'm talking about the rear seat now. It's more comfortable than the front seat. So it's actually an executive car. Peugeot stated that 505. This is an executive car, and truly is a executive car. You can't actually say it's a luxury vehicle, but as a person, I can vouch that this is an executive car. I mean, it feels very comfortable sitting behind. So it's even more comfortable than 406 rear seat, more comfortable than 407 rear seat. The only cars I would say the rear seats are better. Center of comfortability is like 605, 607. What else? Which other car? I'm trying to remember. So yeah, it feels very good here you know, but then I'm always on the front seat, so well, the front seat is okay, but not as comfortable as the rear seat, you know. So I mean, as early as 1986, it has yeah, it has a seat belt on the rear seat. 1986. Is the rear seat headliner. Headrest. This speaker, I got it at the same time with the radio in 2010. This one, I think I bought it 11,000. It's good to have buy original electronics, because they will serve you much longer than these fake ones. You need to hear the sound quality of this speaker and the radio. You know, this way I usually put my fire extinguisher. There's this pocket here. This model has a manual window control for the rear seat, but for standard V6 you'll find they have electronic rear window control. The front one, of course, this one, the front is the electronic control one, but for the V6 you'll find the switch is here for the rear seat, which is kind of odd. Maybe at that time they did this where the better position for them, but I think they did it so that both the driver and those in front can easily control the rear windows. But for modern ones, of course, you see them here. So this one, yeah, it works very well, no problem. I barely even use them. So I mean, the car is basically always there. All the windows are up, so I don't even bother lowering the windows. The roof liner stay intact since 1986. Nothing has been done here. I've not done any work here. The only thing I know I've done here is to replace the speaker and the radio. These are the only things change you will find here since the car was produced in 1986. Everything still remained the way the car was from that 86. Okay. Now, one good thing about the 505 is the sound of the doors. I mean, you can't hear that. The only car you can hear this same sound, I think, is 305. Other than that, there's no other Peugeot car that have this sound. No other Peugeot car have this sound. Remember, one issue 504 had was this door lock mechanism. Very annoying. But it was improved on 505. So how do you say any 505 that had issue with this mechanism and here, you know, opens easily compared to the 504. And the door cars too are also everlasting. The only door car that is as good as the 505 is that of the 504 GL. That's a very good door car. Durable one. But the other 544 models, their door cars are useless. One of the advantages 505 has over 504 is here. Here, you know, it's 504 for you to lock the door. Most times you have to use your knee to push it in, and to open it sometimes you have to use your knee, press it in a little before I can open. The 505 I didn't have that issue. All the doors on this car since 1986 still behaves like the car was produced just like yesterday. No issue, nothing. Is there anything to point out here? These are the pedals. For the ones that has cruise control, there's a switch here. But when this one was the conversion was done, the cruise control was not installed. So this car originally didn't have cruise control, so that's why they didn't install the cruise control on the cylinder head intake manifold. So what else? This is the signal lights, the double one. This is the rear window heater, fog lamp. All this works. They all work. This one too works. All this works. I mean, this is the blockers. This is the mini blockers. So I mean, it's kind of interesting. Even I can see the inner lights. It all works. Oh, this one, I think I need to start the car for it to work. Even the rear one too works. What else do I need to show? So this tire, 505 has 505 V6 has 15 rim. This is the standard alloy rim for 505 V6. So it's 15. As you can see, this one is 195/60 to 15. So there are two recommended tire sizes for 505 V6. One is 195/60 rim 15 or 205/55 16. So, but for what I've observed is for European model, this particular one with 170 horsepower, the recommended tire size is 195/60. So ever since I got this car, I've always maintained this recommended size. So the number plate as well was 505. Though usually when I got the car in 2010, it wasn't this number plate that registered the car. But when they introduced this new, the current new number plate in Nigeria, so I decided to get this one. Like I said, this car. The only thing I know I've done on the body of this car was to spray it. No body work, no panel beating. Okay, if you say body work, spray it. But no panel beating has been done. Oh, I've changed the rear lights. At the time I parked the car and the fender. So when I wanted to spray the car, I wanted to change them. So this is a 7-year-old vehicle. You see, moves well and drives so well. Something to talk about. One thing about this car is do not park this car for too long. This guy there is really. So when you park this car for too long, what I mean park, I mean when you stop using the car, things start start breaking down. For example, there was a time I couldn't use this car for about 4 years. What happened? The starter motor failed. Remember, for those who don't know, the VC starter motor is different from every other 505. That's what I mean. The 505 VC starter motor. It's different. So when it failed, I couldn't get a replacement here in Nigeria. I did everything I could. I mean, at a point, somebody said he found one in Anambra State. From here in Abuja, I sent money, they shipped it to Abuja. It was bad. Worse than I could ever imagine. They said, okay, send it back, we'll probably repair it and send you back your money. I sent it back, got lost on the road. And for some reasons, the person did not receive it. I don't know. My money was gone. So I said, you know what? So I had to stop using the car, even though it's manual transmission. This one is 5-speed manual. However, I can't afford every time I drive out with the car. I have to ask people to be starting the car for me, so I just parked the car. Until eventually I decided to order a reconditioned one from the United States of America. So I ordered it, it came in, but at that time the car stayed for about 1 year without being sparked. So I got the starter motor. Well, basically, you could say reconditioned, but okay, you could call it new as well. So I mounted it, started, the crank and started, but then immediately the car started, the water pump failed. The water pump started making one horrible noise. It was as if it was a tractor engine that was running. So the turbine was just wobbling inside, and even when you touch the radiator hose, you could actually feel the water bouncing inside. So what I was doing there was maybe like every once in a week I'll just drive it out, come back. At the point I just parked it. I said I tried it for like a month, once a week. I've driven for like 5 kilometers and park. At the point I said, if this water pump fails on me, it means I have to tow the car, because it was that bad. So I parked it again. Did everything to get another water pump. I couldn't get, it's not available. Like I said, different from the 4-cylinder engine that are very common in Nigeria. So no parceller even understood what I was trying to describe to them while I was searching for the water pump. So there was nothing I did not do. I went online, I didn't see. Before I know it, another 1 year has passed, making it 2 years. Before I know it, the 3rd year has passed. Well, I think it was on the 4th year that I was like, man, no, I just this car, I don't want it to rust away there. So I was like, okay, at least I need to start using this car again. Even if I had to put a 4-cylinder engine, which is the carburetor engine. So because of that, I did it. I had to build a new SM1A engine. And in fact, before I even got to that stage, I think it was on this 3rd year or so, I made an attempt, or the 2nd year, I can't remember, 3rd year, I made an attempt to just be starting the car, even if I don't drive it out, let it warm for maybe a minute or so. At the point, the car refused to start. There was nothing I did not do. It refused to start. I left it. 3rd year, the 4th year, so I now made that decision to do the project. By the time I finished with the project, as the time I was removing the VCCG to put the 4-cylinder engine, and I saw what made the car not to start. About 1 or 2 wire, I can remember correctly, I think just one wire caught somewhere. If I had not removed that engine, or not necessarily the engine, if I had not done that project, I wouldn't have seen why the car refused to start. Because where that wire got broken, there was no way I would see that issue unless I remove all the wire, because I had to remove everything that has to do with wire that works with this ZN3J engine. If I had not done that, I wouldn't have seen it. If I had not removed the engine, I wouldn't have seen it. If I had not done that project. So eventually I had to switch back the V6 engine, since I've seen why it refused to start. But before I could do that, what happened was I went back online and decided, since this, remember I said this engine was used on Volvo 760 GLE. So I said, let me even search online with the Volvo part instead of using 505 V6 water pump. So I now use Volvo 7660 water pump. Boom! Everywhere on eBay. Same water pump. All I did was just to use Volvo's model, and it came up. I actually ordered two. First one I ordered the water pump. By the time I took delivery, it was broken. You know how big that water pump is? Probably some of you probably don't know. I had to order another one, all the way from UK. That was about, it was when the water pump now came, that I made the decision to switch back to V6 engine, but then I need to sort out the water pump issue, since I already know the electrical, what made the engine to refuse to start in the first place. So then by the time I did swap back the V6 engine, put everything back to start the car, two fuel injectors refused to work. This is one of them. Two of them refused to work. As in, it's not as if blocked, as in dead. The car, what's it called? Whatever that is inside, it wasn't making any move anymore. Failed completely. And this is very hard to get, this particular model. I had to get another one that it's not identical specification, but at least you want to remember it's a little bit different. So it kind of affects it every once in a while. You know, when you start the car sometimes, you try to accelerate, it will not necessarily misfire, it will misbehave as if the car will blow too much fuel in the system, then it will normalize. So I know those two injectors I put, I actually got them from a BMW store. Those old model BMW, they use similar fuel injectors. So I was able to, there's a part, this is Bosch. So I got another Bosch, send this thing, and I checked the part number, and the specifications are not identical, but kind of similar. Few figures different from the O's, this and that, the spray pattern, you know. So I want, let me go with them. So eventually I'll still have to get this. So my point is, when you buy this car, if you have a 505 V6, it's not a car you just leave and say, we'll always come back to it. No, you have to keep using the car. It mustn't have to be everyday use, but at least once in a while, or maybe every weekend, use it. So do not abandon 505 V6 if everything is okay on that engine. Otherwise, you start having issues. Things will start breaking down. Is there anything I want to talk about? I don't even know anymore. Honestly, because like I said in this video, I really want to do more of driving. I know I've done videos, even you know, while I was driving the car. So now, what is the experience like? I don't think it's something I'll be able to describe. The ownership, the experience. This car I've been with me since, like I said, I ordered it in 2010. So, even though, like I said, I took delivery in January 2011. So it's best, well, I will still call it like 2010 anyway. Yeah. So you could say, if you are going to count from that 2010, say the car has been with me for 13 years. Right? Do I have any regret? No. Hell no. Oh, my dream car. I can't. I'm going to do, there are stories there's a background story to this car when I first received it or took delivery. So I'm going to do an article on that. Maybe the article will be a part 1 of this review, while this video will not be a part 2. So that it doesn't stay too long. So my point is, this car changed my life. It did. This car changed my life. I wouldn't have known what I know today about modern Peugeot cars if not for this car. Aside that, it taught me a lot of things about life as well, not just about going to mobile. It taught me, there are... Maybe I will talk about those things on the article, not on this video. But my point is, 505 V6 is one of the best things that happened to me, especially the manual. The automatic, I was enjoying it. Like I said, I have access to 505 V6 automatic as well. Yeah, though that one, the automatic transmission is faulty, and I don't know, the car is no longer even starting. It's a long story anyway. I can't compare the manual with the automatic. The automatic, yeah, is good, but one thing with the automatic is, remember in 1986, so the shifting is not that as smooth as you have in the newer automatic cars or transmission now. When it's upshifting or downshifting, you get that small, but it's not that relevant. But one good thing about the automatic transmission in 505 is that ZF4HP22 is almost constantly on sports mode. That's how I would describe it. If you know how sports mode is on your modern automatic gear, but that's how that one is. It's just aggressive all through, from low RPM to high RPM. It is one of the most aggressive transmission I've ever driven on a Peugeot car. So, yeah, of course, everything is manual. You can't compare it with manual. There are some things you should know about this car if you ever think of owning one. I don't know if you'll be able to get another one, 505 V6. It's possible depending on where you are. In Nigeria now, I think, okay, I could say in Abuja, we are like the only 2 people that have 505 V6. The automatic one and this one. It's possible there are other ones, but they are not being driven. So, in fact, right now this is the only one that is usually on the road. Because even the automatic one is for over a year now. In fact, when the transmission failed, in the process of trying to, I couldn't get another transmission that could fit in. We had to do construction. In the process, something happened. It just messed up the timing. I don't know. It's a long story. Can't say whether it's even the time, because the car will start, you try to accelerate it to go up. So I don't know whether it's the transmission that is messing it up, because it was a construction. Couldn't get, so it's. So this is like the only 505 V6 that is on the road. So few things to know if you ever get a 505 V6. Be very careful. If it's manual, be careful who you give the car to drive. The clutch kit, the friction plate, the pressure plate, they are not easily available. I'm not even sure what that one can. There was a time I tried to get and to keep a spec. Couldn't find, even online. So you have to be very careful. If you give anybody who doesn't know how to drive manual and kills your clutch, that probably will be the end of that car, unless you want to convert it to a different engine that the pass or a different engine that is not this PRV ZN3J engine. Once that clutch fails, so it has to be somebody that actually knows. This one I don't give it out. Don't. Because it's not about, okay, I can afford to buy another one for you. Where will you even see it? So it's possible somewhere somebody outside Nigeria that still has one old stock. But it's still, so far, I've gone online. It's not online. It's not in Nigeria, because Like I said, this car was not sold in Nigeria new, so nobody even know about it. Most technicians don't even know about this car. I mean the 505 V6. I remember one guy that was making arguments. So one mechanic saying, no, it's not possible. 505 did not have any V6. Maybe this guy doesn't know what he's saying. So somebody begged me, please open the boot. I opened the bonnet. I opened the bonnet. Say, wow. No, he didn't say why. It was the other people around were saying, wow. It's actually true that it's not just the badge. That it was actually V6 in you. The next thing the guy said was, like I said, it was a mechanic. He's a mechanic. He said, no, you look at the compressor. The compressor is not factored. Because there's no Peugeot car that compressor is mounted on top of the engine. So mean that this is a construction too. At that point, I just closed my bonnet because to me, it's one thing to be ignorant. It's another thing to be dumb and ignorant. If you don't know anything, it's not me to go and before you start arguing with somebody that knows what better than you do, go and research on that thing to have understanding of what you are even arguing about. So that's one thing. So there are some parts you won't be able to get in Nigeria as far as this engine is concerned. You have to order. Remember, the starter motor, I have to order it from outside. The water pump, I have to order it from outside. Some of these sensors are pointed out. The good thing is they are actually very long lasting. They hardly fail. Even the MAF sensor, mass airflow sensor, is still serving very well. Though I've eventually got a spare one and kept in case. But this one is still serving. So, but these are not parts you easily get here. So if anybody in Nigeria that have intention of getting a 505 VC, if at all you can be able to find one, understand that parts availability, 1, 2, technical know-how. I bet you right now the whole of Nigeria, I might only be the only guy who knows how to diagnose this car, the engine. Yeah, I'm beating my chest on that. I'm most likely the only guy that know how to diagnose and fix this car. So why buy something you know when it breaks down, you won't be able to fix it? Because eventually it breaks down. No car will not break down, no matter what. So what happens then? So if you're not ready to learn how to fix a 505 V6 yourself, I'm talking about the engine parts. Because the engine is indestructible. I forget, you won't have any issue with the engine itself. Where the problem will come is the accessories, the engine management. Issues will come up. So how will you not be able to diagnose to know what the issue is? For example, this car has 2 fuel pumps. 2 electric fuel pumps. One is inside the tank, one is outside. So you have to be able to identify if there's an injection issue, which of the fuel pump is having issue. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do a short few kilometer drive. I'll show you guys around. This video is almost going to 2 hours, 1 hour 30 minutes or so maybe I'll do the video, maybe not. So, but it was a good decision so far. We've been serving. So if you can get yours, why not? But hit the warning I just listed. Availability of parts, technical know-how. So it's not, don't expect that any Peugeot mechanic will be able to understand issue with the injection system. They will end up killing the vehicle. Most of what happens to this automatic the one I was telling you about. So one hand and then issue became compressed. So up till now, I don't even me with the knowledge of this car EFI system, I still don't know what the issue is. Because I checked every system, everything is intact. Yet the engine refused to work. Pulled out the entire wire, everything was intact. engine still refused to work. Converted, because that one is 1988 model, so the wiring connection is different from this one. The engine wiring and so what I did was I converted his own from 1988 to 1986 connection, still so that it can work exactly like mine. Still, it was still doing the same thing. So that's how I knew the issue probably came, because it started immediately after they did that construction on the gearbox. They bought a different gearbox from a different vehicle, and they try to make it to work on this 505, and it started. So it started the car to start. It tried to accelerate, it goes up. So okay, so I think we'll see. Maybe I'll do a small short drive, maybe not. But at least now you know that 505 V6 actually do exist. Now the 505 V6 was discontinued in 1989. That's when the production stopped. So if I were to choose between the first generation PRV V6 and the second generation PRV V6, I will choose the second generation. Not necessarily because I have it, probably because I've already understood this one. So going back to the first generation, which is the one with the carburetor, it means I have to start learning the system all over. Because that carburetor is completely different from the normal carburetor you get in the 1.8 and 2.0 with carburetor engine, the 504 and 505. So you have to learn how to troubleshoot when issue comes up. So I think I'm okay with this one. This one, the once in a while, it gives me issues, but like I said, the knowledge is there already, so I'll be able to troubleshoot. The rear shock absorbers are weak, so that will be one of the things I'll need to replace on the car. I don't know if I've covered everything. Something I was in my 407 and it just occurred to me that I don't have where to keep phones. But in the 505, they actually made a space, even though at that time mobile phone was not available. So let's see how many phones that can enter there. This is 2. This is 3. So you can actually take at least 4 phones or more. At least 4. Comfortable. Here. Which is this feature is lacking on the 407. Then on the door cards, there's a pocket there, which I also serve as where you can keep your mobile phones. Okay, I think there is only 2 that can comfortably stay here. Okay, wow. So I can still take another one here. So though my 407, the coupe one, it doesn't have rear space for phones on the center console dashboard. Please, it has this pocket on the door card, so I do keep mine here, so it's not an issue. Except that for the saloon and station wagon 407, the design of the pocket is not that, I don't like the way they did it, so when you put your phone there, it'll be very hard to access. But the 407 coupe on is all basically like this, so you can easily access it. Okay, so we'll see. Maybe I'll do the POV drive, maybe not. But the most important thing is what I just talked about. That's the main part of the review. That's the most important thing here. I've done videos of driving this car, So you can go and watch that one. But we'll see, maybe I'll do, and then add it to this video. So that is it actually. Until next time.